screen. I'm going to assume that everyone can get to this screen right here. Uh, and if you can't, you got an invite to join this meeting. Hit reply to that invite and say, I'm unable to log on to G2, but I don't think that's the case. I think pretty much everybody can come to this screen here. The second assumption is that I'm assuming that you can hit launch CRM in the left-hand area over here, which launches this screen. And that will be the end of my assumptions. And then you come to a screen. Now that's what we're going to be talking about now as we go on. First off, CRM has 5 different managers, and those managers are located up here in the upper left-hand corner. And currently the default manager or the initial manager is the home manager. But then you also have activities, contacts, leads, and opportunity managers. So they're all 4 different managers and what you work with. The home manager is pretty much, well, I call it the coffee and the donut menu that when you come in, you sit down, you go, okay, what do I got ahead of me? What's my day looking like? So it's, everybody else calls it a dashboard, which it is. But it doesn't, it's what you initially see. But your real work is always going to be in your opportunities. That is where you're going to spend the time. This is where you're recording, like, here's all my contacts I'm working with, and here's all the things that they want, and unit type, what stage am I at, what lead source they came from, what unit brand they looking for, what's the stock number, what's the stock description, what are they trading, what's their trade unit. I just kind of going over to the left here. So this is the screen. When did I create them? I can organize it by creation date. So that's my most recent. I created an opportunity yesterday, 2 the day before, 3 the day before that. So the opportunities is you're going to find, especially when you kind of think about it, say you enter in 3 people a day and say you work 5 days, that's going to be 15 opportunities sitting here. Times a month, that's going to be 60 opportunities. In 6 months, that's going to be 360 opportunities. And we're going to talk about how you can keep these organized to where it makes you money. Because ultimately, that's what we're talking about. How can this make you money? So the home manager is your initial screen that you come to, but where you do your work at, where you will spend 90% of your time in CRM is going to be right here in the opportunity manager. With that being said, I'll go back to home. I am going to put this on y'all. And by the way, at the end of this call, a little bit after the end of the call, about an hour probably, I'm going to be sending you guys a recording, the video, the recording to the link to this I'm recording this meeting. I'm going to send you a link to it. So you'll have my email address. And what I'd like you to, so this is going to be on you. I'd like you to, if you don't have what I'm showing you right now, these 4 boxes here, I need you to email me and say, hey, Mark, I don't have those 4 boxes there. And then I will get you those 4 boxes. And the initial thing I'm only going to ask you is this, is that when you launch CRM, when you click on launch CRM and it launches this screen, come to up here to where it says view definition. And again, it's only if you don't have the screen, and look for one that either says, has 2 asterisks in my home screen or has your initials, my home screen. Either one of these will do. If you have the one that has your initials, use that one. But if you don't have one that has your initials, use the one that has the 2 asterisks. And what you're looking for, now they may not be in this order, but you're looking for these 4 boxes here, is one that says my open opportunities, a box that says my open web leads, a box that says all my contacts, and a box that says all my scheduled follow-ups due in the next 7 days. So on you, your responsibility, after you launch CRM, if you don't see these 4 boxes, click here, look for one that says asterisk, asterisk, my home screen, or one that has your initials, my home screen. Either one will work. If the one that has your initials, use that one. And once you click on it, you should see these 4. If you don't see those 4, email me after I send you the email at the end of the meeting, and I
Tristan,
will get on
can
your
we turn
computer.
that down just a little bit? Do you know where?
Are you
Yeah.
talking to me? Okay, I will. Okay, with that being said, it's worked out very well.
Jason, mute your microphone, Jason.
Um, it worked out very, very well, I think. Everyone seems so far enthusiastic. I'm going to go through as a salesman. I'm putting the salesman hat on, which I was, by the way, at Leisure Time RVs in Orlando for many years. Um, I'm going to do it as you would do it. So again, interrupt me if I need to. Okay, let's start with web leads. There's two ways, actually, there's four ways that you come in contact with people. Either the people fill out a web lead on a website, and that goes to your company. It probably goes to your store manager, and then your store manager assigns it to you. And then you contact the customer and you do what you do. The second is they call you on the phone and and then somehow the phone call gets routed to you. And again, you do what you do. The third way is that they drive by and they stop in, and you get that customer, you get that up, and you do what you do. And last would be the show. You see them at a show, and again, somehow you come in contact with them, and again, you go through your process, you would go with them. And that's probably the four major ways. There might be other ways, but that probably covers 90% of the ways that you come in contact with customers. And in CRM, you are going to enter or you're going to interact with them either as a web lead or as a contact. And we're going to go through both. So let's do the web lead first, and then we'll move to a contact, a drive-by, or a phone up, however we want to work it. So let's come here. So when my manager assigned this lead to me, Ari de Groot, for a Aspen 21 RD here, this Dutchman, um, when he assigned it to me, two things should have happened. I should have got an email that saying, hey, you have a new web lead. And then when I come to here, I should see that lead. So anytime, and actually, I'll show you how they do that in case you need to coach your sales manager. They have a screen. Actually, I'll show you the screen. This manager screen, they have one here called Open Web Leads. So when they have their web leads, when they see a lead, they look at the lead and they say, hey, I'm going to give this to John, or I'm going to give this to somebody. All they do is right click on it. They hit reassign. They type in the first 3 or 4 letters of the salesman's name. They hit search. They find the salesman they want to give it to. They click select. And I won't hit this because I don't want to change the name, but they hit OK. And at this point, that would change the lead be assigned to Ronnie. And Ronnie would get an email saying, hey, you got a new web lead. So if you need to coach your sales manager, I say, hey, sir, when you get a web lead in, all you have to do is right click on that thing after you determine, kind of qualify that, after you determine who you want to give this web lead to, all you have to do is right click on it, left click on reassign, type in the first 3 letters of my name or whatever, hit search, and you'll find somewhere in there the person you're looking for, hit select and OK. And then that would assign it to that salesperson. So, okay, that was free. Let's go back to the salesman screen. So again, the web lead gets assigned to you. Now you pull it up, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong here on kind of how you process it. The first thing you do, I'm assuming, is you look at the web lead and see what information you got. Sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you get a little, but you got what you got. Usually, probably 90% of the time, the customer asks a question. How many will this sleep? How much does it weigh? What color is it? Is it on your lot? They ask various questions on the web lead. And the way I was raised in RVs was always answer the question in the manner that the customer contacted you. So they contacted me electronically, I'm going to respond electronically. And I look over here and they have a phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and first respond to their question. How many will this sleep? So I'm going to click on this little hyperlink up here, and that will launch the email template. Let me close that for 1 second. This is a Windows product. In Windows, you can always do things multiple ways. So I can launch the email template by clicking on the email link, or I can do the long way, action, hover, and go to email, and I get the same window up here. So however you like to do things, I like shortcuts. So I look at this, guy asks me how am I doing sleep. I click on the email that launches the email activity. I come down here to templates, and I would really encourage you to go through these templates. There's probably, I don't know, 25 or so there. I think they're well written. But you guys, your company has the ability to change any of these that you wish to make your life more expedient. A quick note on what you're looking at. We do have them categorized. If you see the A's and the FIs and the LEs, A means pretty much appropriate for any correspondence. CSI is kind of a customer service index template. FI would be something coming from the finance department. LE would be appropriate for a web lead. LS would be appropriate for a lost sale. You work somebody, they bought from somebody else, but you still want to follow up with them. PD grouping here is for post delivery. SH is for shows. SVCs are for service, and WIs are for walk-in. So feel free to look through these. They're strictly to make your life easier and quicker. So this customer emailed me for information, and they did give me a phone. If you notice, I have two here. One that says lead information request with phone, and then another one says lead information request without a phone, in case they didn't give you a phone. I'll show you that one for a second. So just say that they didn't give a phone number. So I'll click on that template, and this one says, hey, hello, Ari, thank you for contacting, blah, blah, blah. If you would please reply with your phone number and a good time that can be reached, I would like to contact you and tell you about whatever that you asked about. So we try to construct the templates to match what you generally speak. Now, there's no way on God's green earth that you can have a template that does perfect for everybody. So a lot of salesperson will use the write your own one. And what the write your own one does is just puts in the header, hello, Ari, and gives a down here, thank you, and a place for you to put your signature. And by the way, your signature should pop in there. I'm just not set up on your system. I had to type mine in. But the write your own template, the one I'm looking at now, salespeople will create notepad things because they don't like any of the templates. And so they'll go to Notepad, create their own template, come in here. So they'll create, 4, 5, 6 little notepads and put them on their desktop and so forth. And then click on copy and then get rid of it. And then highlight the stuff they want to get rid of in this template and then hit paste. And then they got their own little template in here. And actually, I didn't need the hello Ari, it's already there. And so feel free to use Notepad or Word or whatever you want to create your own templates. And so you can easily paste in. So if you don't like all the canned text, and of course, if you guys at any individual store agree on all the words that should be in a template, again, you can create your own. So it's just to make your life easier. Okay, enough talking there. Let me go back to this customer asked for information, and this customer supplied a phone number. So I'm going to use the template that says lead information request with phone. And again, it comes here. I'll put my name down here. And I have done some research, and I have found that. I'm going to get rid of this. It will sleep 6 or whatever. And then hit send. And the way to send it is come up here to action. By the way, action you'll find where you do everything when you want to have some action, all action done to something. By the way, we do have the full gambit here. If you want it to do the normal stuff you think you should be able to do in email, yeah, you can. So highlighting it, coloring it, whatever, red, say. Anything you think you should be able to do in emails, you can do in emails. And then when you finally get done doing whatever you do, you come up here, you hit send and complete. And then that is, It alerted me. I don't have the dealership's name here. And Mark. And good. Okay. So it does catch you. If you don't have the right information, it'll say, hey, you don't have the right information. And then now I'll hit send complete. And that email just went to him. It shows sent. And then if I go to, I'm going to close this now. If I go to my web lead, if I go to history here, then that email will be sitting right here in history. Now, in this session together, I'm going to show you functionality, which I just showed you now. And again, I'm going to talk about best practices also. So the functionality, that's pretty much how things work. The best practices, take it for what it's worth. If you like what you hear, use it. Don't like what you hear, then don't use it. But again, how I was taught was always respond to the customer and answer whatever question they have, send an email, and then wait a few minutes and then call them and say, did you get the email? Don't wait too long. And I would just hop right over here. So I would send the email, then I'd go over here to the link with his phone number in it. And when you click on that, that will launch the phone call activity. And I put in, this is going to be a note to yourself, the subject, initial call. So some note to yourself reminding you what you want to. I'm going to the due date. I want to call him right now. It's 1:20. So I'm going to wait, give the guy a little bit of time, and I'll wait till 1:30. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close that bad boy. And now that follow-up, now the one I sent is here in history. And let me go ahead and just mute that one person. Okay, the email I sent is an activity history of the lead, but if I go to open activities, that phone call is sitting there. Now, where else is that phone call? Let me go to the home screen. It is sitting right here on top, waiting for me to call him. Now, by the way, if you notice a due date, start date, if you can see that, it's blank. I'm going to hit refresh, that little green thing up here, and then that will fill it in showing I want to call him today. So again, that up to you. Do you wait 5 minutes? Do you wait 10 minutes? Whatever you want to wait. But then I would call the person up, and I would actually launch that first and then call them up. Hey, Ari, did you get my email? Yeah, you did. Great. I saw that you want to know how much to sleep. Did that answer your question? Yes, it did. And then you do whatever you normally do with a customer. And in the comments here, you put your notes from the call. And whatever you guys talk about, you talk about, and you hit save. And then after the phone call, you hang up the phone, you hit mark as complete. And again, what that will do, I'm going to hit refresh. That's going to move it from open over to history. So now I have two things, so I can keep track of whatever I've done with this customer. Now, as you're talking to him, you are also finding out what he wants in different things. And that is where you do the conversion. That's when you say, I wanted this guy, this is a valid lead. This is a person. This is somebody that has potential to give me a commissions check. I want to convert him into a contact and an opportunity. And the system does that for you. All you do is come up here to action. You hit on qualify. It looks for the system first. It says, hey, is there an Ari DeGroot in the system? Is there another contact that has degroot@gmail.com in the system? Is there another contact in the system that has a phone number of 727-892-7946? It found nothing. And if I had an address up here, again, it would check the address. It's a whole algorithm, and it's looking to see if that person's already in the system or not. So when you see no record found, it's a pretty good conclusion, or that person's not there. In the lower left-hand corner, if hopefully you can see that, the system, this is a wizard, is going to create a new contact record for you based on the information that's in the lead. It's going to create a new opportunity for you based on the information that's in the lead, and it's going to give the lead an opportunity name, whatever was in the subject of the lead. So new 2002 Dutchman RV, new 2000 Dutchman RV. So I'm going to hit qualify. Now I hit the qualify button. If you kind of would, keep your eye in the upper left-hand corner and watch what happens to that icon. Right now you see a blue, it's a person, can't probably see that part, but that is a person with a blue jacket. Watch what happens to that person. They just turned to a red jacket. And the difference between a red jacket and a blue jacket, a red jacket is a contact. If you see blue up here, that's just a web lead so far. And a web lead is just an unqualified contact. And a contact is a qualified web lead. So here I have the exact same information. If I got any more information from Ari, I'd go ahead and put in the work phone number, the home phone number, addresses, anything new. I got anything new from him, I would enter it here. And we did talk about what he was looking for. And the system already created my opportunity for me. So I'm going to hit edit. I don't have to add an opportunity because the system created my opportunity for me. So I would hit edit opportunity. And when I click that button, that will launch the opportunity screen. And there's a lot of different names for this screen. By the way, the icon for the opportunity is a magnifying glass. Not sure how we picked that, but did. The opportunity has different names. I like the name customer wants or customer looking for. I've heard some people refer to it as the sales worksheet. All of those are accurate. It's just hopefully you're looking at this. More than likely, you're using a yellow notepad or some kind of recording something that has pretty much some of this information on that. So all that is just recording electronically what you and him talked about. And as now searchable, 6 months from now, 6 months, 2 years from now, if I type in 21RD in the system, which we're going to cover, I will find every opportunity that has looking for a 21RD. So that is the beauty or the power of electronic over paper. Will paper ever go away? I don't think so. And I think you're still going to go out there with a notepad and write down things as you're talking to the customer. And let me kind of digress a second on that. You get all done. Oh, take it back. I'll do that. I'll do that. Take it back. I'll do that with a walk-in because you probably wouldn't have a piece of paper at this point with a web lead. So I'll go into that when we talk about walk-ins. So anyway, I fill again in the opportunity more stuff like year. He's looking for 2020 to 2022, if that was appropriate to put in. Just basically anything new that he wants to buy at closing to the end of the month. Okay, the 28th. Stage. Where am I at with him? Tell you what, right now I'm actively working that guy. Putting on here. What's he going to spend? What's he kind of looking for money wise to spend? He's looking maybe 50,000. Where's he at? Now, to me, you need a definition for this rating field. I did that kind of quickly. Here we have a field called rating, and I'm hitting the drop down. And I learned this at a dealership and I liked it. And I thought it was a very good definition. A rating of hot indicates that you feel that opportunity is going to happen within 30 days. Warm, you feel it's going to happen within 60 days. Cold means it's outside that time frame. All three of them, you're working with people on it. But I like the definition of 30 days, 60 days, and then outside of 30 days to keep track of them. And most salespeople, and you don't have to answer this question, but just kind of think about it. If I asked, when I do trainings on live, what I did at the Texas store, I always ask salespeople, how many people are you currently working that you get a good feeling they're going to buy in the next 30 days? They're going to buy pretty darn soon. And usually the answer is 3 to 5 to 7. So you kind of think about that number for you because you all have a number. You guys are working X amount of people, and you think out of those X, you have X that are going to buy very soon. That's the one you want to mark hot. And that way, at any time that you have 200 opportunities looking for you, you can always filter your opportunities. Let me just see my hot ones. So out of 300 opportunities, you just see those 4. or those 5 or those 7 or whatever that number may be, but it easily gets rid of all the noise. Otherwise, you have basically 3 trays on your desk. One tray for hot customers, one tray on your desk for people you're working, and then you have a tray sitting behind your desk probably for people you're kind of calling every now and then. This just does it for you electronically. So I think it's a good field. Towing capacity, tow vehicle, whatever they have. Trade, this is down here, 2022. And when I hit this drop down, you're going to notice that it has things in it, Class A, Class C, blah, 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 blah. But does anybody see four-door sedan there? No, there's no four-door sedan there. And all I'm trying to make sure you understand is that if whatever they're trading isn't in that list, then just type it in. Type in four-door sedan, and it will accept that field. So it is a table-driven field, but it allows you to type whatever it is, because there's no way that this list can contain everything that people trade in. So I'll just change to travel trader. Same thing with the brand, table driven, but you can go type in whatever you want to. So I don't see Alpenlight here. So I'll type in Alpenlight. I don't think they sell them anymore. They were a good fifth wheel. Model 25 RK and so forth. So trade, whatever they have to trade. This is actually a trade comment box. Has 2 ACs, is generator prepped, has a soft floor, whatever you want to put here. And then the comments down here, the reason it's a big box is anything about the thing. Right now, his first comment was, how many will it sleep? I'm going to add a new comment. Wife does not want wet bath, but they do want a generator. Anything about anything you feel really important, you don't want to forget. You put here, you hit save. And by the way, if you noticed, when you enter a comment, it puts the date on it, it puts the customer number on it, it puts who put the comment in and how many will sleep, and it does put the time you did it. And obviously at some point, you see the comment down at the bottom. So the comments, the contact screen up here, that's who they are. Name, address, phone number, rank, that's just who they are. The opportunity that you added to or that the system added for you to the customer is what they want. And so far, I have had 2 activities. Let me go to history here. So I'm back to the contact. I've had those 2 activities. I sent him an email. I called him, and he said, hey, can I come by Saturday morning and take a look at it? Well, now I don't have a shortcut for those 2. I only have the email, phone number, and a letter. So here I do have to go to action, hover over add activity and appointment. That launches the appointment activity. Subject, coming in Sat to look at, or again, whatever you want, that's to you. You can, all the acronyms in the world. Come down here, grab Saturday's date, whatever time, I'll leave it 2 p.m., but whatever time that you want to put here, and you hit save. And that is what I consider a CRM entry. I have an active contact status over here to the right, an active contact. And what is an active contact, by the way? What does that status mean? The status of active contact means there's an open opportunity. If I didn't have an open opportunity, then that status would say inactive in the contact. So don't look for any more deeper meaning than that. Active, I have an open opportunity. An inactive contact, I don't have an open opportunity. Anyway, I know who they are, I know what they want, and I have a follow-up scheduled. And that's a CRM entry. And now where is all that stuff? Where is it in my face, so to speak? I'm going to go ahead and close all 3 tabs. Do you want to save your changes? Yep. I'm just hitting that red X in the upper right-hand corner of the tab. And if I go back to home and come down here, again, the date's not there. Let me hit refresh. So Ari DeGroot in my scheduled follow-ups on 4/15 at 2 p.m. I have an appointment with him. He is no longer here. Why? Because he's no longer an open web lead. I converted him into a contact and an opportunity. Contact-wise, he's right here, the last one I entered. And opportunity-wise, he's right here that I'm working. So again, this is your open screen, and then again, this is where you're going to work at. And I do apologize. I didn't get this corrected. This should say, I do have a rating for each one of these opportunities. And when I get done with this call, I am going to send in a help ticket to our system, and it takes a second to fix it. You're going to see hot, warm, cold here. So I've been digressed. I'll get that done today. But this is what you want to work. And I kind of alluded to it earlier, but you imagine that you have 200 opportunities sitting here, and you want to find all the people here, and you got a good looking fifth wheel in, and you come over here to contains and you type in fifth, just fifth. And by the way, do everything in uppercase, but if you happen to screw up and do it in lowercase, don't worry about it. The system will still find it. But I want to see out of the 300 opportunities, how many are looking for fifth wheels? Boom. I got 4 looking for fifth wheels. Here, let me go ahead and get rid of that. Hit search again. So I'm back to all of my opportunities. I want to find all my opportunities that are looking for a North Point 310. I just got one in used. I want to find all my opportunities that want a 310 RLTS. So I come down here, 310. I'll just actually type in 310 RL, not the whole thing up there. And how many do I have? I got 3. And it's that instance. I really, God, I hope I'm doing a good job emphasizing this. Every one of you all on the call, unless you've been at the company 3 days, anybody on this call that had been with the company more than 30 days, you probably have had at minimum 60, I would assume, between web leads, phone calls, and drive-bys. And this is just a way to keep it organized, and hopefully it's a very easy way to keep it organized. And the main thing is, the reason we put data in system, the only reason that you guys would even consider putting data in the system is to find it later, to where it could make you money. So that is a web lead. And a web lead, another term I call web leads, are electronic walk-ins. They just came into your store a different way than a walk-in. So now let's go ahead and do a walk-in. I got one more web lead up here, but I want to do that a little bit later to kind of emphasize another aspect to our system. So now I have a walk-in or a person at the show, or a phone up. Doesn't really matter how you look at those. I come over here. The first thing I want to do, and now when do you put John and Susan or John and Lisa into the system? I always say when it's appropriate. Some people you might put in while they're there. You might say, hey, sit on down. Let me get some information from you and I'll get you put in our system and we'll get all this working. And some people you say that to and they will bolt on you in a heartbeat. They'll be gone before you even turn around. So when do you put them in the system? Whenever you feel it's appropriate. So now that time is appropriate, whatever that time was. So I'm going to go to Contact Manager. And always make sure the initial screen up here says all contacts. Now, what does that mean to you? It means that when I search for risks, when I search for John Riss, I'm just putting his last name in here. I want to search your company's every single location. I don't care who owns it. I don't care what status they're currently at. I don't care if they're entered in by parts, by service, by accounting. Anybody. If they're currently a contact in the system, I want to see if they are, because I don't need to duplicate them if they're already in there. So that's what this view for you does. And when you use this view, it sets these filter parameters to all. It's just looking for everything. Okay, I'm going to hit search finally after talking that long. And how many risks do I have in the system? Now, if you notice, it has Burston there and BRIS and Christ and Christian and all that. That's because of contains. I'm going to change it to starts with. And I'm going to hit search again. And wow, it's just got one. Sally Ristoff is the only one that starts with RST. So they both have merit. The contains or the starts with, but as you can see, they both give you different results. So I don't see John in here. And so I come up to action. Again, when in doubt, look for the action menu item. And the only item you have is a contact. Because again, you guys will never create a new lead because leads are web based. Otherwise, for everything else, walk-ins, phone ups, shows, those are all entered as a contact. You have met them, you have shook their hand, or you have shook their hand verbally over the phone. Okay, here, again, any questions, stop me. And again, I'm kind of let my eye hop over to my other screen and I don't see anybody raising hands and I don't see any chat going on. So I'm just going to keep on talking. All right. First name, John. Last name, Riss. Actually, while I'm here, I'll hit it. What is the difference between greet as John and the first name John? The greet as John, he might have said my name's John, but please call me Johnny. So here you would put Johnny. So when you send out, it's an informal way to greet him in an email or a letter. So instead of Dear John in the email, it will say Dear Johnny. Or, hey, my name's John, but call me Bubba. Well, then put Bubba in greet as. Whatever, if he says my name's John, but call me Colonel Markinson, then put Colonel Markinson in greet as. However he wants to be greeted in the email or letter. And if he has his wife with him, go ahead and put in Lisa. And again, they will get an email that would say, Dear Johnny and Lisa in this instance. So this is kind of, look at the first name and last name as how it should appear in title work. Look at the greet as is informal. Another title work field is this called entity name. My name's John, but call me Bubba. But if I buy from you, I want to put it in my company name of ABC Motor Cars. Then you would put in ABC Motor Cars, and then that's how the vehicle will be titled, if that's what Bubba wants to happen. So that's what the entity name. Otherwise, leave entity name blank. It's not a. This is not a application here. It's just strictly how they want to the LLC, Ritz LLC, how the title work type thing for the entity. Okay, over here. You see a bunch of red things, and in these red things, we have a config that says enforce contact method is what it's called. And what does that mean? That means that you must have one way of contacting this customer, or you can't save this customer, which there's not a lot of sense to having somebody in the system you can't contact. So here, if I put in the cell phone number, so I put in, and when I hit tab, watch what happens to most of those, not all, but most of those red dots. They go away because I gave the system at least one way to contact them. Now, the one that persists is the email address. This email address field will only accept or will only be satisfied if you put in a properly formatted email address or the word none. You just can't leave it blank. You hit save and it'll say field. I'll hit save. It will say required fields are missing or invalid. It just won't let you save. So that's what you would get. Basically, get the red out will be a good way of looking at that. So I'll put in ritz@gmail.com, and that is a properly formatted email address. Now, I know some of you are thinking, does it do email validation? No, it only does format validation. It's a properly formatted. We are going to hopefully one day have it validate that is a valid email address, but today's not that day. Okay, so I have John here, and I put it in, and down here, by the way, that little band and woman you're seeing down here, this is for the geeks out there. If any of y'all are geeky type people, and you say, hey, can I take a picture of y'all next to that coach that we were looking at, and I'll send it to you so you don't forget what it looks like or whatever. And they say yes to you. So you take a picture of that person, and when you're inside doing what we're doing now, you take your iPhone cable, or the cable that you have for your phone, connected to your computer. Click on this little plus sign, and then navigate to a picture. And I don't have any pictures on here. I should load a picture. Yeah, I don't have any. I'm sorry, I don't have any pictures. So if I did have a picture and I clicked on it and I navigated to wherever that picture was at, really no pictures whatsoever. This is y'all's server. How boring. No pictures. Oh, well. If I selected that, then that would put that picture right there. So you can see your customer's picture there. And again, it's up to y'all whether you want to do that or not. Over here on the right-hand side, we have contact comments. I like to say on this contact comments is that I have to save it first. I'm sorry. Let me hit save. And when you hit save, at that point, it's going to give it a customer number, 5338. Going to put those two shortcuts you saw on the web leads up here. And it's also going to offer to create a follow-up schedule for you. Well, I don't want to create one yet. I haven't created my opportunity, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit cancel. I don't want to create a follow-up schedule yet. And now when I click in comments, it opens it up, and I'll put stuff that I think is relevant about this contact. Has 3 grandchildren. Wants to travel the Midwest. And so forth. Anything personal about the person. You have a major comments field in the contact screen, and you have a major comments field in the opportunity screen. The comment field in the contact, I feel, should be personal stuff about the person. The comment field in the opportunity should be comments about what they're looking for. So I'll hit save, and I'll hit close, and that comment is sitting right up there with whatever you put into it. So that is step one of entering in the system, John and Lisa Ritz. I now know who they are. And by the way, spouse name, I could put Lisa down here. I'll do that. And hit save again. By the way, that's how you know hit save. By the way, if your changes are saved, is this little disk is light blue. I'm going to hit save. Watch how it turns gray. That means no changes have been made since the last saving have been there. Okay, so I have now entered in who they are. I now want to add what they want. So under action, add opportunity. Now that's kind of cool about the web lead. The web lead did that for you automatically. Whereas when you enter into contact, a drive-by or walk-in or a phone up, you have to you do it manually. So add opportunity. And that will bring up a hopefully familiar screen, but it will be empty. And let me just go to one of y'all's units here, hit back. And I do think it's a good practice. I'll just pick on this one here, is to get the formal stuff of your coach that you're looking at with the customer. So I just did a copy. I did that, and I put that right here. Another good way of looking at that is to put in the year, make, model of what they're looking for. And they could be looking for this one, but they also could be looking for a 310 RLTS. They could also be looking for a couples trailer. And by the way, I am purposely typing in more than that field will contain to show off the fact that it will hold. I think you could actually type in War and Peace up here. I'm not sure what the character limitation is on that field, but you'll kind of see why. Why would I do that? I can't see it. Well, why don't I do it? I'll show you why. It's kind of a cool feature. Okay, so I've added the opportunity. I gave it a name of what they're looking for. I want to know the marketing source, and they are required. So let's say they are other, and they were a drive-by. So just how they find me. And then down here, so this is kind of the maybe utility portion of the customer looking for screen, or the opportunity screen. This is more the interest information. So they're looking for new or used. You find a good enough used one, I'll buy used, otherwise I want new. This is a travel trailer, so I'll pick travel trailer. And say they're not brand loyal, then leave it empty. Now, if they are brand loyal, then come down here and grab Rockwood. I don't think people are brand loyal that much anymore. It's an ROO 183. I don't know, so I'm just going to go ahead and select the mini light. Not sure on that one. And so I probably picked the wrong one. I'll just pick that. Bottom line, if that's particular, it doesn't hurt anything. More information obviously is not a bad thing. Whatever you gleaned, and again, you just all these fields here you fill out if they're appropriate for you to progress your sales. You need this information. So you're not seeing anything in red, so that means it's not required. This is kind of a cool screen here. I have no idea what will come up, but we'll find out in a second. So you put in this information. Actually, let me get rid of change that to all. And let me change that to 2024. Okay. What this button here, this search inventory, it's going to use the information I put up here. So if I click on search, it's going to look for all new, used Rockwood mini light travel trailers with that model year frame here. So I'm going to hit search. And in a couple seconds, it should bring up the search window, and it brought up on my other screen. I'll drag it over. So it didn't find any of those based on that information, but it only looked in the TXC location, the location I'm logged into. So let me get rid of that. So I want to look at all locations. So I'll hit search again. It didn't find any there. So I'm going to get rid of the year filters, and I'll hit search again. Okay. Travel trailer. That is a travel trailer, wasn't it? Let me go back to the website here. Did I do something? Ooh, expandable camper. Maybe that's a.
Take out the mini light and just put Rockwood up here.
Okay. There you go. Huh. Well, that is, whoever said that, thank you. You do need to know your inventory. So the combination I selected evidently was not a valid combination. So, but it is very important to really understand what this screen's doing. So whoever said that, thank you very much. Play with this screen 15, 20 minutes. Next time you pop an open opportunity, come in here and do exactly what I did. Stumble, just like I did right there. Because I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure you guys probably get a paper inventory printed once a week or once a day or periodically. But basically, as many units as you guys sell, it's probably outdated very, very quickly. Well, theoretically, what you look at in here is accurate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, up to the last 10 minutes or so. That's that status right here I'm kind of referring to, the available. And actually, let me cover that real quick. We have 5 statuses of inventory in our system. A means it's available to sell. If you see SA, that means it's sold, but it hasn't gone over the curb yet. So it's sold available, meaning somebody has put down a valid deposit. If you see O, that means that unit's on order. If you see SO, that means it's been sold on order. But again, it hasn't gone over the curb yet. The only status that we don't show, the 5th one, is final sold, which you don't need to see because you're trying to sell something. So kind of be aware, that's the beauty of this. So say I don't find what I want to here, then I'd actually get rid of this one. I'd say, okay, the guy wants a travel trailer. I know that. So I leave travel trailer, I put everything else blank, and I hit search again. And you guys have 479. Sure, show me all 479. So you guys have 479 travel trailers in there. They only want to look at used travel trailers now. So click here. So again, I'm just kind of showing you what I would really encourage you. So out of your 479, you guys have 46 used travel trailers here. Length, if you could get your inventory clerk, so salesman, if you would talk to your sales managers, if you would talk to your inventory clerks and tell them length is important to y'all. The only reason you see 33 foot 10 inches here versus nothing here is because whoever entered this in a piece of inventory didn't put it there. And maybe they didn't get the information, so I'm not blaming your inventory clerk. Please don't take it that way. But for somehow reason, it didn't get here. I'll put that way. And that for salespeople is fairly important to know because I could actually sort. So I'm going to click on length here. So I'm going to see the shortest to the longest. So of course the shortest is nothing. If I click on length again, I'll see the longest to the shortest, which is a very good field for salespeople to look at very quickly. So anyway, play with this thing. These down here are called filters. I want to see, and like list price over here, same thing with list. This is the killer. They're not putting the list price in all the units for whatever reason. And obviously that would be nice to know. So I don't know what process is going on. So please don't take me as, don't say the guy was critical on the call, but the more information you can get salespeople at a glance, the better. Just imagine if every one of these fields were filled in, and then you came here, the customer looking for a used travel trailer, and they want to spend 25 to 20,000 to 30,000. That's the price range. I get the feeling they're at. And then you hit search, and then if they had list price everywhere, when you hit search, boom, you find all of them. You only got one. Okay, let's go to 15,000 and hit search again. Okay, you got 3 that meet that criteria. So again, it's a very if we can get these filled in, find out what is causing them not to be filled in, and then get them filled in, it would just behoove you all very much. So, but for this purposes, I know I'm being long-winded and I apologize. For this purposes of this training, I clicked on the search inventory button, which used initially whatever I had here to search by. It didn't find it till that nice young man helped me out. And I changed the brand here. And then once you have this up, you can change these filters exactly how I just showed you to change these filters. Get good at this. Really would help you on the phone call to quickly see what you have. This is actually faster than your web page. So, okay. Let's say they like that one right there. So that is the one that I ended up with them on. They changed their mind totally. Never happens with a customer. So up here, I'd go ahead and put that stock number in, and I'd hit the tab key, and then it'll change the information here. And now they're looking at a micro mini, blah, 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 blah. And I probably would add that up here to my opportunities. So that is a 2225 RL. So I'd probably add that to the end. 2225 RL is now in the running for what these people want. I guess I like the opportunity name. You can put so much in here. And again, even though you can't see it all, I'm going to show you where you actually can see it all. Okay, that was interested in down here. Hey, when you guys going to pull the trigger? We're going to pull the trigger into May. Okay. Now, obviously, your goal is not to have them wait till the end of May, but that's what they told you. You couldn't change them, then put end of May. The stage field is, and I'm gonna go quicker over these a little bit because I did go over these with the web leads. Stages, where did you leave them with that? Okay, well, we are waiting on the right unit to have come in. These people, you know what? They're not going to buy it in the May, so they're out that 30 days. But these are buyers. I just have a feeling these are buyers. So don't get too dogmatic on your definition. If your definition is they're going to buy within 30 days, that's a hot opportunity. But if they say end of May because of XYZ and you believe them, then make them hot. You can always change them again. And they want to spend 30,000 bucks. Always use round numbers here. Don't put in dollars and cents, just some round number that matches to whatever it is. Trade in, they don't have a trade in. And comments, again, notes about the opportunity that are relevant. Opportunity. whatever's relevant down here, and you hit the save button. So you didn't sell them. They got their impression they wanted. You like what they did, and they said, "Hey, call me on the 18th. Call me in 5 days." So you hit phone call, and I would, okay, I would look at them while they're sitting at your desk. Call in 5 days. So they're not surprised when you call them in 5 days. However, you guys, now that part I'm getting back into sales, so you do how you do your talk with a customer, but I want to call them on the 18th. We agreed phone call on the 17th. This I really like. Salesman showed me this, and I thought it was tremendous. Um, I was trained it, and he goes, "You know what? I don't use it that way." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "If I'm told the customer I'm going to call them on a day, but I don't tell them a time. I don't tell them 11 a.m. I don't tell them 2 p.m. I just say I'll call you in 5 days. I always put in 5 p.m. That way, when I look at my follow-ups, I know I need to call that customer today, but at no particular time. If I schedule a phone call at 11 a.m., 1:30 p.m., or something like that, I know I must have told them 11 a.m., 1:30 p.m., so forth." He goes, "So I either put what I told them, if it wasn't 5 p.m., if I put 5 p.m., means I need to do it before the end of the day." I loved it. I thought that was a great process. So anyway, and I've shown it ever since then. So again, if you noticed, um, how do we let's do a quick recap. We were here, home manager, John and Lisa Ritz came in. We did our thing, however your flow initially works when you work with customers. And now it's time to put John and Lisa in the system. They're still here. They left. That's of course up to you. The next step is we went to contacts. We made sure that we're in all contacts. I typed in his last name. I hit search. At that time, John Ritz wasn't there. If you remember, he wasn't. I clicked on Action, New Contact, which opened up this screen. I filled it in with whatever I knew. I got done doing that. I hit the save button. Then I went to Action, Add Opportunity, which opened up this screen right here. And again, I filled in whatever I needed to fill in. And then I agreed with them on our next step. So I clicked on the phone call activity, which opened up this screen right here. Now, one further thing I would do if they were in my store and they had just left, even though I agreed to call them on Friday or call them on Tuesday or Monday, I'm sorry, I would still do this one. I think this is a tremendous one. They just left. I see the lights going out the front of the door. I would click on their email, which will bring up the email template. I would select the template that says walk-in follow-up letter. Dear Johnny and Lisa, thank you for visiting with me. I appreciate the time you spent with us. If there is additional information I can supply, please let me know. We at Demontrond appreciate for your family and hope you're feeling good. Bottom line, tell them thank you. Thank you for coming by. Because why? What's one good reason? You actually mean it. It is a sincere email. They're not going to say you're being shifty by saying thank you for coming by. And the other thing, if you don't mind me saying it, y'all's email address is hard to remember phonetically. This way, if you send them an email, your email is going to be right here. So all they have to do is hit reply. They can't get your email wrong. And I don't know how many times I've heard the story, so I'm pretty darn sure it's a true story. A customer said, I emailed him, he never emailed me back. Well, they didn't put the right email address to the salesman. They put an S in their email address or didn't spell their name right, or they did something wrong. So if you send them an email saying, thank you for coming by, they're also going to have your email that they hit reply to. And you can actually make a joke about it to them. Hey, by the way, I might send you an email later today, and you can just hit reply to that if you had any further questions. Uh, uh, and then they'll have right email. So anyway, that's called a best practice. If you like it, use it. If you don't like it, don't use it. And then again, I would just hit send. So yes, now I say thank you. I still have this phone call scheduled for next Monday, but now I said thank you. I'm good with him, and I close all three of these windows, these three tabs. I'm sorry. Do you want to save your changes? Yes. And that is how I put a walk in. Now, where is John Ritz? He is right here. under my opportunities. And again, John is down here. And again, that's in the order entered down here. So hopefully you see how straightforward this system is. It's don't, if you're looking for something complicated, don't. Now, on that opportunity name for John, if you remember, I typed in a ton of stuff, well exceeding what you see there. So let me go to the opportunity manager, which I told you you're going to spend a lot of time here. This is your working screen, and watch what happens to my mouse. I call it double heading. So watch, I'm going to move my mouse to the left. Watch what happens when I get right between the opportunity name field and the contact field. So I'm going left, and in a second, it will, I call that double heading. I'm going to left click and hold, and I'm going to drag to the right. Now I see everything that I talked to him about. So even though I couldn't see everything in there in the screen itself, here where I'm working people, I do see everything. You can make this thing as wide as you want to make that bad boy. So just realize you could type in, I don't know how many characters that is, 70, 50. You can type a lot, and know a lot about the opportunity. And the reason I'm kind of emphasizing the opportunity name, let me go that back here, is that all the other information because the opportunity name, first of all, the opportunity name is also another term for this field. Opportunity name is called keyword search. I type in any of those. I type in 183. I type in couples trailer. I type in 225RL. I type in 310RLTS. I will find this opportunity. Let me show that off a little bit. I type in couple. So you're a salesperson that you categorize your opportunities by couples trailers, and you hit search. Bam, there's all the opportunities that you notated that are looking for a couple type trailer. Anyway, the opportunity name is it does a very good job of heavy lifting for searching. But the other fields, we do have, I'm opening another screen on another field here. And we make that bigger and hide that there and drag that over. Everything I highlighted in yellow is searchable. So again, the biggest one to me is the opportunity name. Anything you type there is searchable, but anything typed in source description, anything typed in the inch information, brand, unit brand model, anything you type over here, anything you type here, all these yellow items are all searchable, including any comments you put in the opportunity. So the opportunity name, the reason I emphasize that so much and really oversell it maybe, is because I see it easily. I don't have to open anything up to see a lot about what this customer is looking for. So just kind of keep that in mind there. Okay, so now let's go back to that opportunity here. The John Ritz we're working on. And again, I'm kind of, actually, it's 2:06 right now. And people usually get antsy after about an hour. So it is 2:07. Let me change that to 2:07 to 17. 2:20. If everyone would come back in 12 minutes, and we are going to go over how to create a sales quote. So take a short break, and in 12 minutes and 16 seconds, we will resume our call. All righty. Hopefully you all got refreshed. And we will now proceed to sales quotes. So actually a real quick recap, because this is the foundation of everything we're talking about, and then the sales quotes. So John Ritz, then his sales quote, or sorry, his opportunity, and then his open activity. So walk in, phone up, show if the person, you do whatever you do. And then to put him into the system, step 1, go to contacts. Step 2, search for the person. Put whatever here, hit search. Either you find him or you don't find him. In this instance, at that time, we did not find him. So we clicked on action, clicked on contact, and that opened up the contact screen. We filled in what we needed to fill in. Step 2, we went to action. We clicked on add opportunity, which opened up this screen. By the way, that does show you all your open activities, that tab right here. Anyway, we opened up add opportunity. It opened up this screen. We got done talking. He said, let's make an appointment. And so we went to action, add activity. Excuse me. Click on appointment. Or take it back. We actually clicked on phone call here. And that opened up this screen to call him in 5 days. So again, that's a CRM entry. That's the foundation. It should be a one-to-one basis. If you enter contact, you should be entering opportunity. If you have an opportunity, if you have an open opportunity, you should have open follow-up. I'm not going to buy for 4 years. I'm going to Puerto Rico. Then schedule a phone call for 3.5 years if you think he's serious. And in 3.5 years, it'll pop on your screen. You go, wow, that's a blast from the past. I'll give the guy a call, see if he came back. But if you have a open opportunity, you should have an open follow-up. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Okay, now let's go to sales quotes. So now I'm going to give John a quote again, whether he's here on the phone, doesn't matter really. And again, this is a Windows product, so I can create a sales quote. I'm in the opportunity screen tab right now. You can see the magnifying glass. I can click on create sales quote here. Or if I was in the contact screen, I could create a sales quote there. Again, it's Windows product, many ways doing the same thing. I think it's best to do it from here. That's just how I do it. Okay, so I'm going to click on create sales quote. And it's going to do actually 3 things for me as it is popping up. It is going to create a new quote number, 8741 or 8714. It is going to bring in the customer number from the opportunity, and then it's going to tell me stuff like this. Unit is in stocked in DRV, wherever that is at, and it will have to be transferred if you sell it. It's not an error message. It's just telling you that if you sell it, it's going to have to be moved to the TXT. That's where I'm logged in at. It's going to have to be moved to the TXC location if I sell it. When I click OK, if you could, watch what happens to the stock number. It brings the stock number in here. And over here is your pricing. So I actually don't know what's going on with used. I'm assuming if it's used, all the ones we looked at that had no retail, I guess just nothing would ever be up here. All you would do is put the selling amount down here. So again, get with your inventory people if that's appropriate. Please, I'm just making suggestions here, okay? It's nice to have all the information possible at your fingertips as you look at it. New, I think you're in pretty darn good shape. So anyway, you have 2 columns here. This column here is without taxes. The second column is with taxes. Here, what you're looking at is the selling amount of the unit without dealer options. See how this says $28,996 and this says $29,995. We all have a dealer option you're charging the customer for $999. Where is that at? Come down here in the lower left-hand corner. You guys have defaulted in, because it's a travel trailer get ready for $399. and I don't know what that is, a Recover SVR for $600. That defaulted in. That's how you have it set up, and that's how our dealer options can work. Based on certain business rules, they can default into the quote just merely based on the type or brand or model of the coach. So that's how you set it up. So the selling price with or net sale with dealer options is $29,995. The sales tax is $19.52. Again, these are coming in based on different business rules. Ensure that they're right. I'm assuming they are. But sometimes assuming is not a really good thing. For a while, y'all been in the system for quite a while now, but for a while I'd check, make sure they're right. Okay, just and the person that probably would know this definitively is your finance manager. So when you create a quote, are those numbers that are popping in properly? If they're not, we need to change them. And of course, down here, final balance is 32,252, which is net sale plus all this stuff. I probably hit save way too much, but I think it's a good best practice. The second you create a quote, before you make any changes, hit the save button. And now sales quote 8714 has been updated. It's in the system. I don't care if my power goes out. I got a sales quote created for this guy. Now, a couple things. If I say anything now going forward on the sales quote that is in contradiction to what your sales manager or your company wants you to do, then they win. Okay. So I don't know all of y'all's rules. So if I do anything in contradiction, please don't say the guy said we can do this. So I'm not. I'm just telling you. I'm kind of normal stuff, but okay. Anyway, so the customer, I'm going to sell the customer this coach for 25,000. So just so you know, it's good to do things in advance to make sure you know what's happening. When I put 25,000 here, this should say 25,999 because there's $900.99 up here. So let's see if it really does do that. So I changed the price to 25,000, and yep, net sale is 25,999, and my sales tax changed accordingly. Now, as a salesperson, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure there are times that you would have like out of state. So you go over here and you would change the code. So right now it's charging TXU, Texas Unit Sales Tax of $16.92, but out of state, you might come in here and put out of state. But I think you guys have a still a unit tax, even if it's charged out of state, you still charge something in state. So you would step one would choose the out of state tax code, which will change the tax to 0. But step 2 would come into override and put in 500 bucks. I believe you guys call that a unit tax. So out of state, but I'm charging $500 for unit tax. So I'm actually kind of going on a limb there. I'm pretty sure that's how you guys roll. And I guess as far as functionality, that's how the functionality is. If that's how you guys do things, you would choose out of state. If there was an amount, you would hit override. You would change that from 0, which is the default, to whatever you wish to. You click OK, and then whatever you did, put it up here, and everything else remains the same. If that's not the case, you don't have a unit tax, then you would just leave it 0. Okay. The best way, the very best way to learn how to work with our sales quotes is working left to right. So, and when I say left to right, I'm referring to these tabs up here. So that's the main tab. So I'm going to go one to the right to the customer unit tab. You can eventually go back and forth all you want to, but for beginning, left to right. So customer unit. Actually, yeah, it's fine. Customer unit. And basically all that's really showing you is the unit down here that you are selling the customer, and then the customer or the buyer that's here. If there was a co-buyer involved, then under the co-buyer number, you would right click, create new co-buyer number. It's going to bring up kind of a wizard type screen here. If I click on copy key data, like if there was address over here, it would bring the address over here. Actually, let me do that. So 1, 2, 3. Now, if I had done this earlier, I should have done it earlier when I created the contact. and 29645. Okay. So if I'd have done that in the contact screen, then that would have been in the contact screen. So when I hit create code buyer, when you hit copy key data, it's going to take the key data. Like it's going to copy Ritz over to surname, but it's not going to copy John over to given name. And I'll hit it. But just all the key stuff. And then you would fill in the first name, you would fill in birthday, driver's license, social, and blah, 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 blah. So that's what how to create a co-buyer. If there's two buyers, I'm going to hit the Ghostbuster. I call it the Ghostbuster. For any of y'all that saw Ghostbusters, it's a red circle with the line through it. It's also known formally as a cancel button, meaning don't create a co-buyer. So I will leave things as they were. I'm going to go one tab over to the right, the quote details, and this is your main playground. Here you have your trade sitting here on top, and then you have some sub tabs that will be going over at the bottom here. So let's hit the trade first. Now, if John had purchased his trade from us a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever ago, and you clicked on this button, this box would show all the units that he purchased on, and you would double click on the one that's appropriate that he's trading in, and then it would fill in these fills for you. Now, John didn't buy from us, so I have to fill it in manually. So let's say it's a travel trailer, and it's a Forest River. It's a Vibe. It's a 25 RK. That's not right, but I forget now. A year 2021. If you have the serial number, put it in. If you have the mileage, put it in. If you have the allowance. Now, this is where, again, we'll go back to your process at your store. Should you as a salesman put the trade allowance in, or does your sales manager do it? Actually, your sales manager might do the whole quote. Anyway, I'll just show it to you. So if it's okay for you to put it in, you put in trade allowance. The payoff, again, the customer said, hey, I got 10 more payments at $250 a month, and so they owe $2,500 or $25,000. That'd be too much. Let's just say the payoff $7,500. Somehow you arrived at that number, $75,000. ACV, again, if it's appropriate for you to put in, you put it in. If it's not appropriate, then don't put it in. This is just all the stuff that makes up a trade allowance. Again, you see nothing in red here, so that nothing's required. But obviously, if you want it part of the quote, you have to have some information. Payoff to Centris Bank, whatever address. Again, if you have it, it's not required. If there's more than one trade, you come over here and click on add. And now that blanks it all out, and you add your second trade, because you see down here, trade 202. Now there's not two trades, so I'll hit delete, and it'll take me right back to my first trade. So you can have basically unlimited trades. You can have 15 if you wanted to. So after you get done with the quote details, then we have our what we call sub tabs. Now these two filled in automatically for us, didn't have to do a darn thing other than create the quote. But say they want a hitch of some sort added to this deal, part of the deal. I want a hitch. So we have what we call the option chooser. Why we put it way down here in the corner, I don't know, but we did. In the low right-hand corner, I'll click on option chooser. You're seeing the two that are currently there. I'm going to click on all options, and I want to add I want to add that. That's what they want with the deal. So I check that box, and anything they want. These are called pre-built dealer options. So it's just, I don't know what would be appropriate for this trailer, but just say that's appropriate. And Husky rails will not fit in. Ranch hand adapter, whatever. I'll click that one. So whatever you check, ultimately, whatever you check, when you hit OK, it will just add it to the quote. And if there are any numbers associated with it, that will add it to the quote. Anything entered in the cost field is going to increase the sales cost of the deal, of the unit you're selling. If the sales cost of the unit was $10,000, this dealer option would increase it to $10,330. So anything here increases the sales cost of the unit. Anything here increases your sales price. So this 210, 450, and 715, that all just increased that number here, dealer options, which increased this number here. Didn't increase the selling price, just increased the net selling price. One more time, real slow. Anything here, not really customer impact, so to speak. It increases your cost of the unit you're selling by whatever these are worth. Anything here increases what you're selling to the customer for. And kind of a note, the guy says, hey, I'll buy this coach, but you're going to give me that 1200, whatever that equalizer control is. Well, in order to do that, let's just say the cost was $500 or $300. Do that, you would put 0 here. It's still going to cost your deal something because that thing does cost something, but the customer wants it for free, and that's how you would do that. Or I'll split it with you. Instead of $450, you pay $225, I'll pay $225. Again, the cost wouldn't change. That just because you made a deal, that didn't change the cost of it, but what the customer's going to be willing to pay for it could change back and forth. Again, everything I'm just saying right now is truly up to your sales manager and your companies. I'm just showing you how it works. Whether you do what I'm saying, I'm showing you how, and I'm showing you how it works. Whether you do it or not is between you and your sales manager. But that's how you can do it if you care to. Okay. Now let's just say there's a scratch on the driver's side door, and I want it to. Part of the deal, I want it delivered to my campground. Okay. How would the deal? Because that's all part of that. All takes somebody to do something. I look at dealer options as dealer options, but also another term for it is promises. Everything you promise the customer should be listed here. So go back to option chooser, go to all options, and I'm going to do just all of these M1 through M10s. We have 10 miscellaneous options. So I'm just picking the first 2. I'm going to come here, remove scratch from driver door, deliver to cust campground, 15 miles. I'm not sure how you guys do that kind of stuff, but I'll just do it that way, and I think you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So say that is a chargeable thing. So over here, because some human has to do that. So let's say you guys charge $10 per mile. So the cost to the coach is $150, and you might charge the customer $180, or you might charge the customer nothing. But again, a human being from your dealership has to do that if you're going to deliver it. So there is a cost to it. And again, you guys might not even fill out the cost. You guys might say, hey, no, we leave all those 0. And we just work the deal a different way. And that's totally valid too. I'm showing you how it works. Remove scratch from door. That one actually, that is one of the few that wouldn't really have a cost or a price. The cost for this, whatever that may be, would more than likely get charged to lot damage. So here on this, the cost would be 0, and of course the customer shouldn't pay for you removing the scratch. And the dealership probably would pay to have the lot person or whoever take care of it. So that one probably would have a true cost of 0, because that wouldn't be charged to the deal. It's not the deal's fault. There's a scratch. So high overview. Again, you do whatever your sales manager and however that really works out. What I showed you, and if you look at the video later and you look at this part, I'm showing you how it does work. Okay, manufacturer options. This is strictly your inventory clerk. So if you see something here, she put them in. If you don't see something here, she didn't put them in. Very quick, that simple. Not really needed nowadays, because you can go to the inventory, your website so quickly. You can see all the manufacturer options that units come with standard wise. So maybe not worth the effort to put those in, but that's where it would go. Parts. Not a lot of dealerships use this. And again, it's totally up to you. But if you have a part, a cup holder, a grill, a BIM meat, or sorry, a Lau lights or something, and for whatever reason, and I do mean for whatever reason, that you wanted to put that in the deal, then you would put the part number right there. And I have no idea, so I'm going to hit search, and I'm going to leave it oil filter. Say they want an oil filter. Just if you could just imagine any part number. So they want something included in it. It would actually relieve the inventory, and it would charge the $34, just increase the price of the coach, or you could change that to 0. Parts would still get credit, but the deal wouldn't, and whatever it may be. But bottom line is this: you only put something here if it doesn't have labor. If whatever you are putting here includes labor, then it should be over here in dealer options, because this is what service does to work it. They would install the oil filter. It would be over here. But if you're just handing the oil filter to them, it could be done this way. Again, I would say 1% of anybody ever puts stuff parts, because it's just not worth it. Go to the parts counter, do your thing. Don't worry about me here. I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to right click and I will hit delete row. Extras. Extras is how to charge the deal for anything that doesn't have a part number and is not a dealer option. So I'm going to right click. I don't know what you have. Left click on extra search. And I like this one, bird dog fee. So you are going to give this customer a bird dog fee for doing something. And let's say it's $100. Same concept you saw earlier in the dealer options. Price, you wouldn't charge the customer for the bird dog fee. You would give it to them for free. I was assuming that's how you use this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's how you guys use it. But the deal would get charged 100 if the customer got 100. Let's do another one here. Search gift certificate. Not sure if you have those or not, but say you give the customer $75 to spend in the parts department. Again, $75 would be charged to the deal because parts department needs to be paid for the parts they take. But again, more than likely, the price would be 0. So again, look to your F&I manager, look to your sales manager about the extras. But the bottom line, extras are something that you want to affect the deal. Excuse me. That you want to affect the deal that doesn't have a part number and is not a dealer option. Salespeople. You'll learn very quickly your codes at your store, and I don't know your codes whatsoever, so I'm going to right click. I'm going to left click on search, show all, and I will pick David. Or I could have typed in DAH if I'd have known it. Like this one, I believe is DE, I think. No, dang it. DH? Oh, well, my memory's not good. So search and show all, and let's say Mr. Becker there, and right click, search and show all, and Mr. Rodriguez there. So again, once you know the codes, like if I know it's GR, I can type in GR, hit tab, and that'll throw that in there for me. So you won't have to do that searching very much at all. Okay, inclusions. In the spirit, again, we're working left to right. Only time you'd ever use inclusions is when you want to include 2 stock numbers on the deal. You have a fifth wheel and you have an F250. So the fifth wheel stock number is 1, 2, 3. The F50 stock number is 4, 5, 6. So the fifth wheel is probably the main thing you're selling. And then you come here and you would select other, put in the stock number of the fifth wheel or the Ford F250. Obviously, if you had a stock number for Ford F250, and then that would include that on the deal. Inclusion means exactly what it sounds like it means. It includes 2 stock numbers into one thing on your coach for you. More of a boating industry thing, like M is for motor. The boat is stocked in without a motor, and they buy the motor separately depending on what they want. And T is for trailer. They stock the boat in without trailers. And again, because the customer may want one with aluminum wheels and so forth. So other is probably the main thing that RV dealership would use it for if you ever used it. All right, I am going to get rid of it and go to tow vehicle. Very strictly 100% informational. That's all it is. So you're actually telling the service department what this guy has. Long bed, I'll put long bed. Year 2002 and 19,000. Strictly, again, if this does turn into a deal and it does happen, this tab with this information will appear in the work order itself that the service department can refer to. Payments and tax, again, I'm just working left to right. You guys don't use manufacturer rebates. You don't use dealer rebates. You do use down payments. So I'll put in today's date. I'm just hitting the letter T for today's date, and I'll put in 5,000 bucks. Don't put in dollars, don't put in cents, and it will assume the cents for you. Don't be afraid of putting something in here. You are not doing anything other than you're saying, hey, I think this guy's going to give me a $5,000 check to take this to my sales manager and do a deal. But bottom line, when you hit save, which I'm going to hit save, by the way, every time you hit save, it's always going to say that, and it's always going to revert you back to the main screen. And so I'm now going to go back to quote details and go back to payments. Anyway, that's what happens when you hit save. This is just recording talk. This is a sales quote. This is nothing in writing right now. This is all just quotes. So take it for what it's worth there. Comments. By the way, I'm skipping gross profit. I'm skipping costs because more than likely you won't have access to gross profit or cost. Comments. You just want to make some notes about the quote that you want remembered. Now this one's darn cool. The work orders, especially if it's a used unit, because you can see all work out there. So there might be estimated, let's say it's a used unit, you see $5,000 here. If you see it's unbilled, then they ain't done it yet. But if you see $5,000 here and you see finalized at $5,000, whatever they did do it. So it's kind of a very good thing to know that's here to see what work orders are currently open on that coach and to kind of give you a heads up of what's going on with that coach. And that actually concludes all the sub tabs. So to get here, I clicked on the third tab to the right, and then I just put in trade up here, and I just work left to right. And feel free to bounce around. Once you get comfortable, you go wherever you want to go. It's a tab-based item, but just work left to right, and you won't miss anything for a bit. The next two tabs are kind of, well, not kind of, they are informational. So every quote ever created for this stock number will appear here. From 1 month ago, 2 months ago, I don't care by who, every quote on this coach is going to be sitting right here. And obviously it didn't succeed because it's still here. You're looking at it. Whatever they tried to sell it for a while back. So anyway, that's all quotes. Financing. Most salespeople I've met usually go to the internet to grab pricing or grab payments for customers, and you probably won't change that. But if you cared to, and your company allows it. By the way, everything's security related. Your company gave us parameters, and we follow those parameters. And so, like right now, this button is active. Your company might say later, inactivate that thing. I don't want my salespeople giving payments out. And then it would be inactivated, and you still would go to the internet. But anyway, what this does, when you click on the payment calculator, it just grabs the numbers that are currently in there. It defaults to 60, it defaults to 6%, and says based on that principal of $20,000, based on 60 months at 6%, the payment's $395. So no, interest rate is only 4.5. So if you change it to 4.5 and you hit tab, then the payment went down to 381. No, the customer wants to be at 120. You put in 120, and now the payment's 211. Don't look for anything magic here. It is strictly a payment calculator. Now, the only cool part about that is this though. I'm going to click closed. No, I was right. I'm sorry. Whatever you have in here, actually, if you see it, it stays in here. Whatever you quoted the customer. So it's kind of a cool thing to use. Bottom line, up to you. Close. So main tab, your numbers, fees, tax, main junk. Customer unit, kind of basically showing your buyer and your co-buyer. This is where you create your co-buyer at. This middle tab here, this is everything. Your trade, and then all your sub tabs below. The last two are informational. Now, I alluded a long time ago that your paper would never go away, that You would still probably use paper as you talk the customer, take notes. So again, say you're geeky and you have your notes in front of you, and you take your camera and you take a picture of your notes, and then you attach your camera to your computer, and then you go to this filing cabinet right here. That'll bring up this screen. You hit select files. You would navigate to wherever you stored that file at. So let me find a file. Surely this computer has a file on it. Oh, come on. There's got to be a file on this computer. Really? Seriously? There you go. Okay. So let's just say I navigated. When you attach your phone to your computer, it usually creates a drive on your computer. So you navigate to that drive and you navigate to the folder that you're got your picture on. And let's basically all just pretend that that is a picture there. So you went to the folder where your pictures are at, and that's the picture right there, and you clicked on open. Down here, it's uploading that file, and it'll be right there. So you'll always have your paper notes with you at all times. You close that up and you do things. 2 months later, you come back here and you pull that sales quote up and you click on the filing cabinet. You will see whatever paper notes you had sitting right here. This little filing cabinet can hold anything, obviously an Excel spreadsheet, but a photo, PDF, anything other than a movie file. And it actually down here tells you what the invalid types are that it doesn't hold. But other than the normal stuff that you do will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of that now. So hit delete. I'm not deleting it from the computer. I'm just deleting it from my little file here. So that is a very cool feature. Actually, I should have mentioned it. That filing cabinet here is in the sales quote, and it also is here under the contact. If you go to contact, action, you also have that filing cabinet in either place that you want it. Okay, back to my sales quote. And you want to print it, so you click on the printer icon. You print on print sales quote, and you use the template sales quote, and you hit print. And that will open up a PDF version of whatever you just created. Excuse me. And make it a little bit bigger for us older folks. And you have the quote date, the quote, the stock number, all the stuff that you guys told us that you wanted within the quote, the trade rate here, whatever you pay off the trade was right there. It does say approximate payoff. Down here, it says estimate trade payoff. It's pretty much exactly what you want. Trade allowance 10,000, tax $500 is how we charge the unit tax on that. So how did I do that again? I'll do it one more time. Within the sales quote, you click on the printer icon, you hit sales quote, you hit template sales quote, and you print sales quote. That will open up a PDF version of that sales quote. You see what you do, come over here, hit print, and then whatever printer you have attached to your computer, when you hit that little blue button, I'm not sure what color it would be on yours, but you hit that print button, it would print to that printer that your computer has access to. We are getting done a little bit. I have actually covered one thing that came up yesterday that I thought was really, really cool. Anyway, actually, let me pause. I see no chat. I see no raised hands. There's two more things that I think are very important I want to go over, but I want to pause. And any questions on anything that I've gone over so far? Okay. Let us say that you, now I'm not y'all, obviously, so I'm going to use the all up here. But I want to, let me actually set this up real quick. So all locations, all owners, and only sold contacts. So I'm going to pull all your sold contacts up, and I'm going to push on Richard Ainsworth here. Okay, let's see what all Richard purchased from y'all. So he didn't purchase nothing. So let me double click on Eric here, Elgaro. And what did he buy? Okay, Eric bought I need to write this down because I'll forget it. And you guys probably more like can't see it. I'm looking right down here at the bottom. He bought an STT 333 VMI, whatever. It's a sport trek touring something. So whatever that is. Now, hopefully you're listening because this is really cool. You're talking to a customer. You did a good job. Bottom line is that touring ST33 VMA they saw, that's what they want. You don't have one. And they're fixing to leave and you got all their information. You'll call them when you get one. And you go, hey, God, can you hold on 1 second? Let me see something here real quick. You got a second? Yeah, I got a second. So you come in here on the contacts. Now you would select you as owner because you want to see all the people you sold it to, but I'm using all because I haven't sold anybody to your store. I come down here to owned unit model and I'm going to type in STT 333 VMI and I hit search. I want to find all the people that the company has sold that to, or I have sold it to first. So again, that would be me up here, the word ME. So I'm only searching my customers. I'd hit search. And then bam, I found 10 people that bought it. And I look at this and I go, Eric, I remember Eric. I liked him. He's kind of a cool guy. So you double click on Eric. And now first thing you do is you verify, did he really buy it? Make sure the system didn't mess you up, so forth. And yep, he did buy it. He bought it in 2025 and he spent $42,000 for it. So you call Eric up and say, Eric, you still got that thing? Yeah, great. Hey, any chance that you might consider trading that in? I have somebody here that actually would love to buy that from you, or buy it from us. We'll transport the deal from you. You wouldn't say what I first said. You wouldn't say buy from you. That if you want to consider trading in, I got a buyer for it, and I could give you a good deal on something that would be better than this one. Think about that for a second. Your inventory, I think you guys have, I don't know, 500 units in stock. But if you utilize this, your inventory is probably 3,000 units in stock. As long as you're nice and as long as the customer likes you, you calling them up and saying, "Que pasa? How are you? I like you? Do you still have it?" and all that. That will not insult any RV. Or somebody called me up right now and says, "Mark, do you still own that 310 RLTS?" I said, "Yeah." Hey, Mark, I got somebody's a buyer for it. I see you paid 42. I tell you what, I could get you very close to that on a trade-in on a new blah blah blah. If you wanted to upgrade a little bit, however you guys do trades, the two-step deal. But I just when I kind of saw this functionality here, I said that is flat out cool because I've done probably 4 when I was a salesman, 2 deals like that. You don't do them often, but boy, when you do them, they're profitable. It takes work. There's no doubt about that. What do they say about salesmanship? Sales is either the easiest low-paying job or it's the hardest, highest-paying job I've ever had. Sales is work, but if you do it work, it makes you money. Anyway, I really like that functionality of that. You find that in Contact Manager, and you find that you could type in brand. I find that too ambiguous. Model is a very good field to use to find all customers that evidently at some time bought a STT33 BMI. So again, I see nothing popping up. So I'm going to end the call with this last thing here. I'm going to my Opportunity Manager. I'm going to click on search. And again, pretend that there is 300 opportunities here that people you've talked about. But you're kind of concentrate on the ones that want I can't pronounce that word, versatile Kaba, CHAABA. But anyway, you have somebody that you got one of these in, you want to find all the people that wanted that in the past that you've talked to. So you type in HABA and you hit search, and then instantly you see all the opportunities that were looking for this at one time. Call them up and say, hey, Are you still interested? So with that being said, we have finished a little bit earlier. That was, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I keep ending wrong. I forgot about this one web lead. And the reason it's important that I go over this web lead, and then we are done, so I promise. Your web lead bucket, this should always be empty at the end of the day because you have either qualified or disqualified them. So I left this one because Harvey Specter is already in the system. I want to show you how do you handle a web lead that he is in the system. He was entered in 4 months ago, a year ago. How do you handle a web lead with a contact that's already in the system? So you get assigned this web lead. You double click on it like any web lead, but let your eye go right down here at the bottom, and it would help if I spelled his name right or put the email right in. Spector. Let me hit save. So let me start that again. So you get assigned a web lead, like any web lead. You would open the web lead like any web lead, but let your eye go down here to the lower left-hand corner to see, is there anything matching in the system to this current web lead? And if I come down here, I see that 2 previous leads have come in for Harvey. And at one point, Harvey was created as a contact or converted to a contact. And that's what that C means here. So when you get in a web lead and you double click on that web lead, the first step should always look down here to see if they're already in the system. Because if they're already in the system, they're already a contact. You don't need to create another contact for Harvey. Your decision is, do I need to create another opportunity for Harvey? And currently, over here in the subject line, that's the current open opportunity, a JCO 310 North Point 310 RLS. So he's just looking around. I don't need to create an opportunity, but I do want to associate this third web lead with Harvey. So I will still hit qualify. When I do, last time it didn't find anybody. This time it did find him as a contact. So down here, it says, I'm not going to check the box. And the system says, I'm not going to check the box because he's already a contact. And I'm going to uncheck create a new opportunity because I don't need another opportunity for Harvey. I just want to take this web lead and associate it with his contact record. So when I hit qualify, same as last time, if you would, watch what happens up here. It's going to change from a blue jacket to a red jacket. I am now going to be looking at the contact record for Harvey, and I see all 3 leads that he sent in over the years or months or days or whatever that he sent in. If I go back to my home manager, I ain't got nothing there because I have either disqualified a lead or I qualified a lead. Down here is my follow-ups, contacts, and my opportunities. So now I am finished. So I see no questions. It has been a pleasure. I thank you for taking your time. Again, hopefully within the hour, I will be sending y'all an email with a recording of this meeting, and then you'll have my email address. Shoot me questions, and I will come back and try to answer them best as possible. But other than that, I thank you very, very much, and you go sell RVs. Take care.